what do you think makes a good creative? What makes someone stand out?
If you're an introvert,
Yeah.
you could make content about how an introvert thinks. Do you know who you're going to attract? Millions of introverts that think the same way,
Yep, that can
and
relate.
extroverts that are realizing that, this is how an introvert thinks.
We as humans are naturally not thinking out the box.
Yeah.
So if something works, now
Now
every
it's
production
like,
company,
okay, yeah.
this works.
Yeah.
Let's go do it again.
Bro, they're gonna start putting Supercell on like pitch decks. Yo, we're back again.
Come on.
What you say? You good?
I'm good, my bro. I'm good. I've had a good week. It's been a good week. Life is good. Life is hard, but life is good. So it's like, yeah.
I relate with that so much. Life is hard, but life is good. You know what? Once in a while, I get one of those days where I had one of those days yesterday, and I've started to deal with those days better. They don't come often, but it's like you wake up, your mind is foggy, and it's like I'm not going to be as efficient as I normally am today.
Yeah.
And what I used to do, I used to try and fight it.
Yeah.
And even when I'm fighting it, I'm getting 1 hour's work done. And normally it would take me like 15 minutes to do that job, basically.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays I just lean into it. Like I'll just say to Antoinette, you know what? I'm not really doing anything today. I just adjust my diary to further days and then start again the next day. Just make sure I'm patterned the next day, basically. Get a good night's sleep. Sometimes fighting is the worst thing you could do.
Bruv, you know what? I was giving a talk, and they played this video of this TED talk talking about procrastination. And actually, what the person was saying is that for some people, procrastination, you got to lean into it. Like if you're a person that does better when you study last minute, there's no point you trying to give yourself a week. Like because if that's what you need to do to get your brain, you need to have a deadline and know that when you get to that deadline, that's when your mind is going to be like, oh my goodness, this, that, and all the ideas come and then lean into that. Don't force yourself to try and be what society's norm or what your teacher said is what you should be doing or what rationally should make sense because we're all individuals. So like you're saying, if you know that, you know what, I'm just not going to be productive today, then that's fine. But as long as you know that, okay, I'm going to, like you said, I'm making the adjustments to make sure what I need to do still gets done. Yeah. Then give that to yourself, because there are times, let's be honest, especially when you're self-employed or whatever, where really you should take a break, but you won't because you're in the flow and things are going and you keep on going. So if you now decide, oh, I'm not going to work today, you ain't got to feel bad, because these men are 9 to 5. They're having their whole weekend.
The whole weekend.
And they're enjoying it, and they're having it every 2 days. 2 days they chill every week.
So
and you might not have chilled for 3 weeks. Yeah. So you don't need to feel bad if after 3 weeks of going back to back to back that you take 1 day off to say, you know what, I should be working today, but you know what, I'm gonna not. Yeah. Like as long as you can fit what you have to get done in that time.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to speak about that as well, because sometimes I think there's two aspects here. The life of someone that's self-employed, but specifically with us, the life of like a creative or creator or whatever category you want to put it into is not as glamorous as sometimes it seems when you see. Because what we see, and it's no fault of anybody, but what we typically see is end product. Yeah. Right? We don't see work. It's like sometimes when we do like a TV show or whatever, sometimes I might say to people that it's weird when you're congratulated because I've done my work time ago.
You're just seeing it.
I've finished it. You're just seeing it now, innit? But the work has been done, innit? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So it's really interesting to kind of like unpack everything that goes into it, because you have to wear so many hats, like an accountancy hat, business management hat. You got to think about growth. You got to think about, there's always going to be an element of sales, because getting new business is sales as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Even if it's a collaboration or whatever it may be.
So what do you think, like, when it comes to being a creative, what do you think is, because obviously loads of people got ideas or loads of people have, but what do you think makes a good creative? What makes someone stand out or make someone really say, oh yeah, you're creative in your industry or in your niche?
I think you need to have a clear style. No, style is one word, but I'm even looking for another word for style. Style is kind of like your delivery and stuff like that. I think you need to have a clear niche, should I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the final thing is, it's always nice to have like a mission behind it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So what is it that you're actually trying to achieve? So like your style might be like a sarcastic style, satire in it, and your niche might be you might be doing a spin on politics. Everything that comes in politics, that's when you activate.
Yeah.
And then your mission might be, my mission is that 10% of young people actually go out there and vote.
Yeah.
I'm trying to increase that percentage, basically.
Yeah.
So those kind of three things, I got it off the dome.
No, that was it.
Style, mission, and your niche, innit? What about you? What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I think for me, that was the thing. Is like, okay, I knew my thing was finance. That was my thing. That's my specialism. And I always say, like, take time to do your specialism. I'll give you a great example. So Simply Sayo, yeah. I met her when she was still studying. So she was studying at uni. And I met her, was talking about her finances and stuff like that. And she told me, yo, E-man, like, once I finish, I've studied this thing. So I'm going to take it. She's really great at poetry, but she's like, I've studied social media, I've studied it. I know that
Swear.
I know what I'm going to do.
Crazy.
And I know it's going to blow. And like, she had her skill set. Like, her poetry is fantastic, but there are loads of people that can do poetry. And it's like, but what she had an identity of how she's going to do it, how she's going to put it out there. And I literally watched her go from like, I don't even know, 5K, 8K, whatever followers to like over 200K followers in like 3 months. Like every video she did went 1 million, 1 million,
Bro.
1 million. And it was just like non-stop.
The thing is, when you study something, like you say, there's a science behind it now.
Yeah.
And like, I witnessed, a big up shower, by the way. Look, this space is waiting for you. You'll soon come sit here. But it's sickly said, because she recently done a post saying that I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and it's going to go viral and millions of people are going to see it. Yeah. And you can talk with that confidence if you're actually an expert, you become an expert in your niche. And
exactly.
For her niche was the whole social media game, innit? So,
exactly. But she was like the poetry with her culture, with, you know, being a woman and life and what she's been through. She talks about that stuff. You see the same thing with Munya, like with the comedy. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, it was like finance, but how do I make this thing entertaining? How do I make it fun? Do you know what I mean? But I had to go and learn it.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. Like I feel like even being like, you'll get found out. Like one of my good friends, Bernice, she does makeup. She's sick. Like, and she knows it inside out. Like she studies it. She goes on courses. She speaks to industry experts. She does behind the scenes. That for the longest time, you'd never even know who she was because she was just learning her thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, sometimes it's like one of them things where you come out and it's like, yeah, you gotta know what you're doing first. Like, so to be a creative, I think is really important. Know your thing. Where if it's comedy, if it's poetry, if it's finance, if it's HR, know what it is that you're doing and delivering. Like, actually spend time understanding it. Then, like you said, it's then the delivery. How are you going to deliver it? And it doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have to be like, it can just be standard. Like I was talking to my wife the other day. You know that the young girl, there's this young girl that she batted up the older woman, like she was being interviewed. She basically had this video, she's talking about some guy ate her out or whatever. I don't know if you saw on TikTok. It was just crazy. The video's crazy. You know, these young people's crazy.
Yeah.
So now she's just badding up bare people. Like, so bare people come for her in the comments, yeah.
And she posts a comment and bads them up.
Yeah, so she went and moved to one of the women that badded her up. She moved to that woman's husband. And so she was like, you're talking about me, you need to go talk to your husband because your husband,
old? I think that bit rings a bell.
You got to go fund me for your thing and you're like X amount short, but your husband just sent me X amount of money. That's how mad this is, yeah?
Yeah.
Bro, she come up on my feed the other day and obviously she's just talking, doing her thing, confident in her thing. I saw like 200K followers, like. And it's like, sometimes, like, it's not necessarily that you have to outline this big thing. You just got to be you and be able to be you on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And you will attract people that will either want to see you win or see you fail.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. That's a key thing. People that want to see you win or see you fail, you'll attract them anyway.
You attract them, and then people will follow because they want to see what's the next mad thing you're going to say or the next mad thing you're going to do. Look at Lani. Like, when you think about her, like, like she was having this discussion about, you know, Bad Girls Club and da. I never watched it. Do you know what I mean? But seeing clips and this and that, and people talk about it, like, but she said there's an audience, and she said it's behind a paywall. So for you to see it, you have to pay to see it. So what's the problem?
Yeah.
If I create this thing and it's behind a paywall and grown adults want to pay to watch it, why are you atting me?
It's so true.
There's a market for it. And I feel like, I was speaking to someone again today, I feel like sometimes in this UK, we have such a negative mindset. Like when I think about some of my favourite creatives and what they're doing, I feel like if you was in America,
It'd be over.
be multi-millionaire, you be in movies, you be courtside at games, and do you understand what I'm saying? Like you be in LA doing your thing. But over here it's like you get a little success and you have to, you got to be humble. You can't bruv, I'm good at what I do. Like it's not by accident.
Yeah, well,
I've worked hard.
Well, you look at in America, like you got the streamers. The streamers is the new thing. You got people like Speed, who you UEFA Champions League final. He's in Real Madrid's dressing room. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That stuff ain't gonna happen. The UK they're not open minded enough to put a creator there because they just don't get it. But the thing I was gonna say to you as well, so interesting what you say about anyone can create, because I think this is one way for it really to open people's minds. Yeah. If you're an introvert, you could make content about how an introvert thinks in certain scenarios. You don't even have to talk. Record a scenario that you're in, maybe it's a networking event, and just do like a light voiceover of the thoughts that an introvert has. Listen, do you know who you're going to attract? Millions of introverts that think the same way, and extroverts that are realizing that, this is how an introvert thinks. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So stop making excuses if that's something you want to do. Now we need to understand not everyone wants to be a creator, and I think one thing to note as well is that you've got creatives that aren't necessarily creators. So people that produce, or people that direct, or people that like write stuff. Like we had Ratman writing Supercell. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it's one of those things where, and we was talking about it, but it's one of those things where you go to, when you're writing, you go to the mountains. You're all for it.
Come on.
Yeah, you go to the mountains, innit? So writing, you watched Supercell, innit?
Yeah.
What did you think of it, by the way?
I thought it was sick.
Yeah, I thought it was sick as well.
I thought it was sick, and the thing I really liked about it is that it didn't feel like it was like every other day. Yeah. Like I didn't feel like a lot of the things I watch, I can guess how it's gonna end.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro, there was things like when the guy was delivering the parcel, and the thing happened, I was just like, do you know what I mean? Like I was surprised, and then obviously whatever. But it's like one of them things where I don't want to spoil anyone that hasn't watched it. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is that I couldn't really predict what was gonna happen next, and then like how they've cast it. I'm not gonna lie. Like see these men in Grime. Yeah, I feel like they have really lived, because the way these men are turning into actors now is crazy. Kano's been crazy. Like
Kano's crazy
with Top Boy, but you see Gets in this thing. Yeah, like. Bruv, I can't, the way he handled it, I can tell, like, whether a man is the hoodist or not, I can tell that he's around man that are crazy.
He's been around it though, innit? Like, if you listen to Ghetto,
yeah, of course,
not Gets, of course. If you listen to, like, a lot of men haven't listened to Ghetto, bro, crazy. But I think they're absolutely right. But one thing I will say though is that I'm not surprised one bit that he could play that role.
Why?
I'm a Gets fan. I was more so a Ghetto fan back in the day when I used to listen to Grime, innit? But I've been a Gets fan for a long time, innit? And you can kind of tell, like, you see him, he gets into it with his music. Even when he does a freestyle, like if he's doing like a I don't know, a Daily Duppy or whatever, you can kind of see that could be translated into acting quite easily for that crazy role. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But I thought the show was sick. Like the acting, I thought was good. It gave. Sometimes you know when someone is a creator, sometimes you don't want to liken their work to something. You don't know if they're going to take it as a compliment or a diss. But I have to say it gave me Heroes vibes, and I loved Heroes.
Oh wow!
Does that make sense? Yeah. Because Heroes was the whole like discovering powers and so on and so forth, innit? And Heroes is old, innit? So I was like, this is lit. Yeah, back to what we're saying, that like he's not necessarily a creator, innit? But there's certain things that you have to deal with then, innit? Like, it's like you, off the back of a success like Blue Story, it's like, what's next? You always have to be thinking about what's next, and you're always dealing with other parts of your business as well.
Yeah, even Rapman, I remember him talking about, because I remember, and this is life. This is how life is. I remember it was Rapman and what's his name that passed, Cadet. They're comparing him. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they both did story. Like, see, this life, you can't just do nothing. Every time you do something, they got to find someone to compare you to.
Yeah.
And then them man collabed and so forth.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Cadet. And then like, but then he started doing the Blue Story coming out, and obviously that was sick. And then obviously there was a buzz when it came out, and they made it into actual, you know, put it out there, YouTube, everyone watched it, it was sick. Then now, after it calmed down, he said that he lost 50,000 followers on socials.
Swear.
Because he was focusing, it's 2020, he's focusing on this. This Supercell, he's been writing that for 4 years for it to come out now. Do you know what I mean? So he's been working on it, filming it, it finally come out. So he lost followers, like, and he said, and people were like, oh, it might be bots, but actually he said that there were people that he knew in the industry that they connected when he was popping. Like, and he's like, I understand, because it's mutual, right? Mutual for us to connect. And then the second there's not, you think I'm not buzzing anymore, why are we connected? So you unfollow, whatever, which is fine. So obviously now, he's now released this.
It's going up again.
Obviously it's gone back up again. Everyone's coming. Like, I saw a couple of days ago where it was number 1 on Netflix globally.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 1
Crazy.
Globally.
I didn't even know globally. I knew it was UK, but
UK. It done UK.
I was so happy when it was UK.
It done UK. It done in Africa. It done in the Caribbean and stuff. But it was globally.
Can I say something here? And this isn't based off anyone that I know is hating. I don't know who's hating or anything. So I'm not saying anyone's hating. But I will say that I don't get hate. I don't get that when you see something like that, why doesn't it make you feel this got number 1 globally? Like, this is amazing. Do you know what this could, especially if you're someone like an actor who might not have been in Supercell.
Yeah.
Do you know what this does for me now? Because Rapman has given them a proof of concept that's going number 1 globally, next time they're commissioning something that suits an actor like me, they might commission 5. Whereas previously they weren't commissioning 1.
Bro, but the problem is that our mindset is, like, and this is why people don't understand when I'm so happy that you do something, or so happy that someone like, because for me, it's like, now it's possible, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, you just did your thing with the bank. So, and did the content and in the newspaper, and I'm over the moon. Because now...
People are seeing it.
People are seeing it. So, now, if I now sit down with another bank and they're like, oh, we're thinking about doing something, I'm like, oh, did you see what the Yorkshire did with what Leeds did with Tayo? They did like, maybe we should do something similar. All of a sudden, it opens it out to, now I can write that check for me. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, facts.
And so it's like, but what people think, and this is the majority of most people, what they think is, oh, this person's done that, I haven't done that, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
So now I hate the fact that you make me feel like a failure. So now I hate on you.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. And actually, like, for me, I see possibilities.
Yeah.
Like, if Rapman can get this thing on Netflix, I feel like, Rapman, like, if I search my diary, I probably know someone who knows Rapman. So if we're in that proximity where to that type of person, then that tells me that I could do something with Netflix.
Yeah.
I could do something with Amazon. I could do something. There's so many of these streaming platforms.
Yeah, facts.
You get the right thing. You sit down, you produce, you get the right thing at the right time. Boom, you're on there.
No, fact.
Do you know what I mean? So it's exciting. We should be excited that, especially something British.
Yeah.
How long have we watched our American guys do this? And well done, guys.
Yeah.
Again, well done. Kevin Hart. Oh, wonderful. Like, finally, someone from our country, our ends.
Literally.
Like, do you know what I mean? From London.
Literally.
Like, man's a Londoner. From London. Someone's come from London.
Facts.
Is doing something on a global scale.
Facts.
Bro, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
Because now what we as humans are naturally not thinking out the box.
Yeah.
So if something works... Now every production company, this works.
Yeah,
let's go do it again,
bro. They're gonna start putting Supercell on like pitch decks, you know, like or commissioning something like Supercell. I don't know if you saw it number 1 on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're in Amazon right now and you see Supercell, you're saying to yourself, "What's ours? We need a version of this."
Yeah, we need a version of this. Yeah,
like if you're on Apple, you're saying, "Right, these ones, okay, We need a version of this.
Yeah.
We need, not like it can sell globally. That's one of the things. They think British stuff only sells in Britain.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But even things like Bridgerton, when I see Bridgerton, I'm happy.
Yeah, facts.
Because these men are talking in English accents.
And they love it in America.
And people love it in America.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's our modern day or not or whatever, people love it. It makes them it makes opportunities for us.
It does.
Now booking me to go and talk in America, these men are used to British accents. They watch our programs. Now Supercell, these men all sound like us.
Yeah.
So if you've watched Supercell and you understood it, maybe you might to use subtitles. You're now educating the market so that when I now come over there to talk finance, I'm using words that you men understand.
Yeah.
And you know what's mad? Like, and I feel this is how crazy the UK is that I watch like Nigerian art like musicians and stuff like that, and I think, you man, I couldn't tell whether you're Nigerian or whether you're from the UK. Like they don't sound like
the artists.
They don't sound.
I think it's to your ear though, innit?
Like I was Arya Starr. I was listening to the other day.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you mean.
She could come from London.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
She's Nigerian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like what's his name? The comedian, the tall comedian, the Law.
Yeah.
The Human Podcast.
Yeah.
He sounds like he could come from London.
Yeah,
this is his first time ever in London.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about people like Ashake. I was gonna say.
Oh no, I only know the songs. I ain't even heard him speak. Like, but like when I'm thinking about these types of, it just goes to show that in Africa, this is why Supercell can bust in Africa quick, because there's still that connection to the UK.
Yeah.
So they haven't got a problem hearing what we're delivering and what we're doing. So I feel like I remember it's numbers.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about streaming, it's numbers.
Yeah.
So it's not about necessarily wealth. It's numbers of people.
Yeah.
We know that the most numbers of people right now is in Africa.
Yes.
So if you can blow in Africa,
yeah,
like that's a big population of viewers of advertisements of so forth. So it's really important.
Well, in a lot of these things, there's evidence of these things as well, because Netflix has its own like dedicated Niger Netflix page and stuff like that, because they know the numbers and they know the influence. I think is more important as well, and not only Nigeria, of other African countries as well.
Of course.
Before we get too far away from it, I want to kind of unpack what you mentioned about Rapman, and I know we're still on Supercell losing a lot of followers, innit? I want to kind of, from the people that unfollowed, what was it? Is it because we come from situations, because they saw that he was successful. He was deemed successful after Blue Story.
Yeah.
And you may have followed to say that, yeah, cool, I want to link up with someone successful, potentially do a show. So what is the mindset? Do you think it's that they thought that he wasn't going to be consistent? Do you think it's that they thought they didn't believe that consistency, they knew he was going to be consistent, but they didn't believe that consistency will pay off?
No, bro, I personally, and this is why I talk about being a creator and being employed, I feel like for a lot of us, we have an employment mindset. Yeah. So what happens? You go to work and you see the fruits of your labor at the end of the month.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very soon.
Very soon. Very quickly. Like I've gone to work. I've done my hours.
Doesn't matter what you did.
Doesn't matter
how you performed.
I get paid every month. And so you've got that mindset. So when now someone like, he's creating something for a whole, like this is number one global. That takes time. So when he's gone away for a year, he hasn't posted for a year, you now think man fell off. Because your mindset is, well, if somebody's doing something, I should see the fruits of it every 30 days of what you're doing. If you're on stuff, I should see it every 30 days.
Yeah.
It don't work like that, man. Not when you're creating something big.
Yeah.
Like your mindset is to be an employee. His mindset is to be an owner. Do you see what I'm saying? He's creating something that he has ownership of over the longer term that now Netflix has put money to support and so forth. So when you're creating something big, like if you think about it, he's the employer, like he's given all these men jobs, all these actors, all the
involved in casting,
all of that from his idea. So when you're the brains of creating something, it takes a lot longer than when you're the employee. Do you see what I'm saying? Because even by the time you got to castings, you had to have the script, you had to have ideas, all of that. So there had to be a structure before you even got there.
Yeah.
Just like at work, there has to be an office, there has to be a company before you can get employed, right? So the mindset of a lot of people is that I'm going to follow you while I see the fruits of your labor. The second I don't see the fruits of your labor anymore, I'm unfollowing you. It's like me now. I always like to be open and like. So for me, for example, I haven't had a TV show in a little while. Not that we haven't had discussions, but because of funding, the current economy,
The TV thing's mad right
it's
now.
mad. And obviously finance shows is like, it's difficult to talk about money and finance when people are really struggling and suffering. So companies kind of want to stay away from it. And if you can't get it sponsored and someone to put money towards it, you leave it. Do you know what I mean? That's how it works. So people have been like, oh, E-man, I haven't seen you on this. Is everything okay? I'm like, are you all right? I'm winning in real life. Because man can do a TV show, but let's be honest, that's not even where man really makes man's money. Do you know what I mean? That's just where everyone gets to see me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I'm winning in real life, doing real things in real life. Like, but it's one of those things where we are so on the, when are you next on television? When are you next in the newspaper? When are you next on other people? But why? I don't control those platforms.
Yeah.
I'm always waiting for a check for those platforms.
Yeah.
So my job is to control how I feed my family. So I realized at a certain point that I'm just waiting for the next brand deal. I'm waiting for, and that can't run. It can't work, because 1 minute you're their flavor, the next minute you've been used by this company, so now no other company wants to use you, or where.
And it's so attached to their timing. So there could be a 9 out of 10 idea, and if it's the wrong timing, it won't fly.
Come on.
But when it's the right timing, 2 out of 10 ideas will fly.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And you can't base your business on that. And all of this stuff is part of being a creative as well, and things that you need to think about. And like, you need to start thinking about ownership of your audience as well.
Exactly.
How you can serve your audience better, how you can take your audience off platforms, how you can speak to them directly, how you can engage with them better. And I think all of these things are very, very important things to think about.
Exactly.
But I mean, the insights that you're giving as well are so good. Like, people, it's good that people know that. Do you know what, the TV bag, depending on what you're doing, don't get me wrong, innit? Like, if you're got like a I don't know, like if you're like a judge on Strictly, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
And it all depends on what you're exactly. If you're got one of those regular things on Strictly or Good Morning Britain. Like, remember, if I'm going on TV, I'm on Good Morning Britain. I'm just there for 10 minutes doing a segment and I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm not there every single day as a regular.
I'm not the host either.
You understand? So there's a different level to it. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like I've got a segment every day where I'm on. It's just as and when you're on there. Then when you now do a show, it's like, it's great you're doing a show, but again, it depends on how they put you. Do they put you as the host, or do they put you as the expert?
Yeah.
So when you're the host of the show, then you're gonna get more bread. Do you understand? And you're more pivotal. You're in more scenes because you're helping create the picture and the story. Yeah. When you're the expert, they're bringing you in for that set moment. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so it becomes difficult. And one of the things that I find with television is that, especially and again, this is if you want to be a creative, is that a lot of the time, once they box you into a certain area, it's difficult for them to allow you to then do something else.
Absolutely.
So if everyone calls you the expert, when now there's an opportunity for you to host, they'll be like, well, you're an expert, you've got hosts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't want to confuse the audience because people are used to seeing you in expert. Not that anyone is ever going to be confused.
Yeah.
But I remember everything has been done for so many years.
It's very, very safe.
In a set way.
Very, very safe.
Do you understand? So that's why more and more people are going to YouTube and social media, because a lot of these rules that have existed for years and years don't apply there, and you've got more creative freedom.
Absolutely. And one of the things I want to add as well for the people that are listening to this is that you're running the business at the end of the day as well.
Yeah.
And it's not even that TV bread is bad. I don't ever want to say TV bread is bad, but when you compare the hours put into it, the travel, and if we start dividing things up, it balances relatively low compared to some of the other stuff in it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
But the other stuff happens because you're on the TV though.
Exactly that. And this is where you need to start thinking from a business perspective.
Exactly.
And you're right. The other stuff does happen because you're on TV. But you got to just start making these decisions. A real life example of ours, mine and Antoinette, is that when we started Bricks with Tips, we did a lot of YouTube. Yeah. YouTube takes a lot of investment, time and money. And even when you put in a good amount of money, sometimes it's not at the level. YouTube level is TV level now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But also funded. Yeah. And you need to be consistent for a very long time before payment, innit? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Whereas with socials like Instagram, you can put in a 20th of the time and collaborate with someone a lot quicker off the back of that, basically. So these are the kind of things that you want to think about. But at the same time, at the same breath, YouTube is, for me, in the world of a creator, someone that makes social media content, YouTube is the real estate.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. YouTube is the ownership. YouTube is the make money while I'm sleeping thing.
Yeah.
Because whenever you upload a video, if you've been doing it for 3 years, when someone's watching your video that you just released in 2027, there's another person watching your very first video in 2024 and everything in between. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And you're getting ad revenue on the brand new video 3 years later and everything in between at the same time. People are watching it for the first time. They're enjoying it for the first time. So for me, like, YouTube is the real estate of, or the property of the content creation thing.
Yeah. But then even with YouTube, you know, like when you think about how much they get paid per view, it's difficult. I watched some guy say that he did, this young kid, he does some, I don't know if he does some dancing or whatever, but I think he got like over a million views, and it was like £100 or 100 or something pounds, or like it wasn't what I was expecting. Do you know what I mean? And then I think he got 10 million views and got like 1,000 something pounds, and it was just like, okay, like, so it's all of that. It's like, yes, you own it, but again, are there other platforms like? So for me, it's like, yes, okay, I've got 50,000 followers, excellent, but actually, do I need 50,000? Do I need to feed the 50,000 with all my energy, or do I need to find 500 people that will pay on a monthly basis to get access to the knowledge and give them my real attention? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, when you look at the model, actually a smaller group that you can manage. So really, what, for me as a creative, what social media is letting the world know what you do and allowing a space where people can find you. And when you network and meet people and they say, oh, what do you do? Oh, follow me on this. You can see my content and what I do. It's a great way to advertise yourself and what you do. But really and truly, you want to be able to have things that you take offline that are in your control, and you can upsell your skills or whatever it is you do to that audience.
It's your time, really, because I guess when you make social media content, the whole point of it is that if you've got 50,000 followers, it allows you to say a message once.
Yeah.
And it will hit 50,000 people. But as a result of that, you have to make your content in a certain way.
Yeah.
For it to be applicable to the masses at once.
Yeah.
What we'd like to do for people that want to take it that step further is give you something tailored.
Exactly.
And then that's where the smaller groups, the smaller paid groups come into it.
Exactly.
But with that, they're not even really paying for, what they're paying for is the time.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because now instead of saying a message once for 50 people, now you're taking the time to listen to what their specific scenario is. Okay, how can we tweak this basically? But they're paying for the fact that you could be doing something else at the time that you're spending the time doing that. If that kind of makes sense.
And that's how you got to see, as a creator, you got to see social media as a shop window.
Marketing.
Because how will people find you? Yeah. So people will find you through that, and that's how you can then work together. Now it's like, okay, how much do you charge? Like, how did you, when you got to the point where, okay, now, like, okay, I'm doing this content, and then you're going to get that DM, do you work one-to-one with people, or I've got this question, or I need this help, or I'm about to buy this, can you help me do this and that? How did you work out, okay, this is the service I'm going to offer and this is how much I'm going to charge? Because obviously the first time you'd never done it before, it wasn't like you had, and it's not like there's bare people telling you what they're charging or what's going on. You don't know if you're expensive, if you're too cheap, whatever it may be. How did you go about that process of, okay, this is what it's worth?
I did it all for free for a long time.
Facts.
That's the only way. I did it all for free for a long time, so I can see the value that I'm adding as well. Yeah. So I can get feedback. Yeah. Feedback is how I was getting paid. Yeah. How did you find out? Okay, you bought your first house now, so on and so forth. And then what you have to do is just take your time. Don't rush into things. As you know, and the listeners know, I created a home buyers club because that's now my dedicated space. Because naturally, as we work, we get hundreds of DMs. I can't answer 100 DMs of people's long paragraphs, unfortunately. Yeah. Very, very specific as to, like, my diary is stacked all the time. So now I dedicate a certain amount of time to the people within the home buyers club and the people that subscribe for that. Yeah. And I know that that's where I'm going to dedicate those times in my diary to it. But prior to that, I did everything for free because that's the only way to kind of like learn. Yeah, and it's really important what you said about like time, and because let's put it like this: I get people, man, I'm going through XYZ. They'll send me a DM. You can answer it. When it comes easy like that, people don't. Okay, thank you. See them 12 months later.
Did you do it? No. They didn't do it. They wanted to ask the question. Now they got the answer. They still didn't do it for free because they didn't value it.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, but what you don't understand is that for me, I took time to give you that answer.
Yeah.
Like, and that time added up with all the other people I answered.
Yeah.
Meant that I wasn't talking to my kids for an hour or
Bruv.
2. Or I went to bed late
Yeah.
to make sure I could reply to you. And you are not even going to you're not even going to do the information I gave you. Do you know what I mean? Because for you sent one message and got one message back.
Yeah.
For me, I've got hundreds of messages and I got a reply.
Yeah.
So that's why when you say that now, okay, I'll create a group where I say, look, if you really want me to answer it, and if you're really serious about reaching this goal, here's the Home Buyers Club. I'll help you buy a home. But there needs to be commitment from you in order to get my time.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants my time because I'm out here giving this information and I'm actually qualified and know what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. And it's one of those ones whereby it works well as well, because the people that you'll find in these groups, they're on the go. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because I guess for us to help people effectively, they need to be on helping themselves as well. Exactly. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And those kind of things help to kind of like qualify that.
Yeah. What do you think about getting an agent? Because that's what everyone messaged me, E-Man, should I get an agent? E-Man, I started to get some brand deal things come in. And they asked me to do this and do that, and they asked me, have I got an agent or do a direct? And I don't know what to price myself. I don't know what to do. Like, and obviously, if I had someone pushing and reaching out to people for me, I would make a lot more money. And Should I get an agent? What do you think?
I need an agent. I know that much. And based on my experience, you should get an agent for one of 2 things. Based on my experience, right? And these are 2 reasons why I got an agent and why I had an agent. I was very fortunate that TV came very, very early. And it was simply put, like, I'll tell the story off the time. They were like, cool, great, we'd love to have you on board. We want to give you the role of presenting this TV show. What's your day rate? I don't know whether to say £3 a day or £30,000 a day. I don't know. Do you get me? I really don't know, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, lack of knowledge in the industry.
Yeah.
I've gone and got an agent. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You know how to speak to these guys. You know if I should be charging for something extra.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to do it yourself. You don't know if you're meant to be charging extra for this thing. You sometimes when you're filming TV, if it goes over a certain amount of hours on travel, you add it to the contract. That every single time travel exceeds this time, we add a little something on top.
Yeah.
I don't know all of this. So you need an agent, lack of knowledge. The second one is, if you're fortunate to be in a position, time. I can't be, the 3 reasons actually. Time, yeah. The third one's a bit funny. Time, because you may not have the time to be negotiating or reaching out to, especially if you're running a business behind it as well, doing other things. You can't do all of those things. And then the third one is that sometimes you need that third party, especially if you're dealing with a client. I get to talk to the client and build a rapport with them and understand what they're trying to achieve, or whoever it is, but it may be. I don't want to be there. Sometimes money can be an icky subject. I don't want to be the guy that's the same guy that's talking to you about money. You'll talk to my agent or my manager about that.
Yeah,
what do you think?
No, I agree, because if you talk about your money, you look greedy. If your agent talks about money, that's what they expect the agent to do.
Yeah.
No, but that's the agent's job, right?
Yeah.
The agent's job is to get the maximum amount they can for their client.
Literally.
So they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
When you ask for the maximum amount you can get for yourself, you look selfish and greedy.
Yeah.
And then clients can be put off.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't talk about your own money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and put that off, because again, what happens is, I don't deal with the money side of things. My agent does that.
Literally.
Now they got to speak to your agent. Now that creates a time for you and your agent to discuss. This is what I'll be able to accept. This is what I wouldn't have. I think this is what I accept for. Do you know what I mean? And then your agent can go prepared to go and say what you would have said, but it sounds like it's coming from them.
Yeah.
So these people are ready to accept this better. So that's important. I think agents are amazing. Like, we used to share the same agent. I recently moved agencies, but Sam, my old agent, was fantastic for me. In regards to, like, when I met her on set, like, I got the first contract I had signed because it was my first TV thing. It is what it is. It wasn't really about the money, it was just about the opportunity. So I just like, it is what it is. So I took it, and then, when I tell you, like, she sent so many emails for me that went on deaf ears. But how would I have? I wouldn't know what the email address is to send to Good Morning Britain, to This Morning, to Morning Live, to Jeremy Vine. She has all those email addresses already, so she can send that. She can create a bio. She knows what they want to hear.
Yeah.
She can create a bio and send it to them. She sent it to them, and they blanked her. They blanked her. She said, "Man, no one's coming back to me." 2 months later, pandemic. Like, now we're talking about money. So now some come back like, oh, that money guy did it. Them, George Floyd. Bro, it went mad. People that she had messaged in January are now emailing her. But it's because when they were looking, they could say, oh, do you remember when we got an email for that guy? So who is talking about you? Who's sending you, like, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
In rooms that you could never be in or never reach. Do you know what I mean?
While you're making content as well. Because it's going to be while you're making content.
Come on.
It's hard to do that stuff while you're making the content. You'll find that you're running out of time, basically.
Yeah, and not all agents, also remember, not all agents are proactive. So you got to understand, what are you getting your agent for? Because if you're really busy, you might just be getting an agent just to deal with the money side of things and the booking side of things.
Yeah.
But then how much are you giving away for that? Do you know what I mean? Because remember, they want their percentage. Like, and typically, you know, it was 15%. It looks like the market's now gone to 20%. And I get why it's probably gone to 20% because there are less deals. Yeah. So they've got to increase their price. Do you know what I mean? But if they're taking 20%, it's like, you don't want them to just take 20% of what's already coming in.
Yeah.
Like, so you want to encourage them, like, okay. And even if it is what's already coming in, you want them to be helping you build your brand to help more things come in.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point where a lot of the stuff that was coming direct to me. But my agent was helping me get on radio, helping me get on TV, helping me. So these are the things that are making them want to come to me. So even if it's coming direct to me, I know she's playing a part in what we're doing. So
absolutely.
I think agents are great and important, but I've seen now a lot of people who said, you know what, I've learned from my agent now. I know what to price myself. I know what I'm doing. I'm not seeing the perceived value. I want to go it alone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And just manage themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon you could do that?
No.
Yeah, I couldn't. I literally couldn't.
I don't have the time.
I literally couldn't. Like, literally, when I get an inbound email, I need to continue my day at that point. So I literally just CC my agent in and then carry on doing what I was doing. But everybody's got different businesses, and if it works in a business model, it works in a business model, innit? I think that, and I know that a lot of people have asked, how do I get in touch with your agent? The thing I'll say to that is that she runs a business, innit? Like, her details are on my page, innit?
Yeah.
You can hear her. I'm not one of these people that, she runs a business, she'll make a business decision on it, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? But regarding, like, where people can look for agents, what I typically tell people, so many different types of creators out there, I say everybody should have a what good looks like.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I've got a number of, like, what good looks like. I think that in the kind of, like, property and finance creator space, one of my what good looks like was the email effect, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? In the presenting and hosting space, just general presenting and hosting, what good looks like was Mo the Comedian. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Hosting, like, all of these different shows, the Brits and whatnot, and all of the TV shows he's got. So I often say to people, have your what good looks like, and then see who their manager is.
Exactly.
And then people are again in that area and see who's managing them. Yeah. And maybe go on the page, read the profiles, seeing the work they've done with them. Yeah. And then you kind of got an idea of who to approach, basically.
No, definitely. And I think I totally agree. Like, who do you like? And this is where have you done the research in your industry? Because you are not going to be the first person to do what you do. So, like, even if you're an expert, there are other experts. You might be an expert in something niche but there are other experts. Yeah. So you can find agencies for other experts. So you find experts that you think are really good at what they do, and then find who their agents are, and then you can pitch yourself to their agents and say, I know you work with experts. I'm an expert in this. This is really important because of XYZ. Remember, for an agent, they only get paid on a percentage. So they need to really believe, for them to work for you, that you're going to be bringing in stuff that they're going to eat their 20% or 15% or whatever it is off. If they don't believe it, then they're not going to work with you. It doesn't matter how important what you're doing is. Yeah. So it's really important you understand that when you're speaking to an agent, you are selling volume. You are selling the money that they can make. They don't want to miss out, because they're only going to work for you if it's in their interest.
Yeah.
If they're going to make money, because they don't get paid to send emails. They get paid for you getting booked.
Yeah.
And when you get booked, they get their percentage. Yeah. So if they can't see, you need to be able to show them, this is my niche, this is what I do, and these are the people who will book me, and this is why. And if you can show what you've already done without an agent, that's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
So like me, by the time I met my agent, I already got on a TV show. I was already doing content. I was already doing stuff. They were like, okay, cool, it's great.
Yeah.
I can channel this now into XYZ.
Yeah.
And you know, it worked. It worked really, really well.
Yeah.
So it's really important for you to be able to show the agent, like, if you're going to work with me, how does it work? Now there are different types. So you can have an agent for your TV, and then you can have a separate agent for your book. A literary agent.
Yeah.
So you have a separate agent for your book. You can have an agent that just does your corporate speaking. Like, so there's speaking agencies like Speakers Corner and loads of these other speaking agencies. So if you want to become a public speaker, there are agencies that you can that are working with corporates already that, again, you can pitch yourself to sign up direct with them. Yeah. Now, if you have an agent might already have relationships with speaking agencies to get you in there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they'll listen to you because some of their clients are already with that agency. Yeah. And so now they can get you in a conversation that if you try to go cold, they might not listen to you, or they might get so many emails.
Yeah.
So again, it's really important to know what you're looking for. But I would always say, if you're adding value already, and this is the easy wins, I tell creators, the easy wins, newspapers, magazines, like radio shows, they are on every single day. They need guests every single day. So you want to be following people. This is where Twitter will come in, where I don't really like Twitter, but a lot of journalists and that are on Twitter. I get people, even though I don't use Twitter, I get my DM, Emmanuel, we really like you to come on to or really. Bruv, I have to keep Twitter on. I can't switch it off. Because this is where this is where they've originally built their network on. Do you know what I mean? So they're not gonna now switch to LinkedIn or this is where they're at. So you'll get a DM, and a lot of it is quick.
Yeah.
I'll get BBC London or BBC Radio. Want you on this? And they'll just come in. Luckily now I'm at a level where I'm on their system. Yeah. So it's even different now.
It's inbound. Whenever they got a topic, it's like, oh yeah.
They go onto their internal BBC system, type in finance, and I'll come up. And they'll have my telephone number, email address, and they'll email me directly. But before, it was all Twitter. Yeah. Like, and I hate that platform. I mute that thing. But I have to unmute it because I was missing certain things, because it's really quick. Because if they don't hear from you, they'll go on to the next.
Yeah.
But it's really important to know that these are little wins that are going to, because what you want to be able to show to an agent is that, wow, I've done X number of magazine or newspaper features. I've been on X radio shows. I've done X, even these TV channels that maybe are on Sky that are a bit smaller. If you can get on there as a guest, do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, you're showing an agent, without you,
this is what I'm doing.
I've done all this.
What can I do with the connects, with the team, with the resource?
With the resource, your knowledge, your connections, your experience.
The focus is the key thing as well. Because remember, you're still a creator.
Come on.
That is their job. Everything that you're doing as well isn't actually your job.
Yeah.
That's the truth, innit?
Facts.
Your job is to create. It's like an actor's job isn't actually to go and find roles. So that's why they'll have an agent that does that. Like, his job is to act, basically. So that's the kind of way to think about it.
Yeah, and it's so important. And like you said, like the free thing, sometimes it's like, it's just experience, right? So it's sometimes I don't like to do stuff for free. Like I'm really against it. Like now at this level that I've got to, but in the beginning, bro, when I look back, bruv, I might as well been washing tables and washing plates. Like, bruv, when you think about what you were doing for free, and then when you start getting paid, you divide it. Man in McDonald's are making more dough than man, even though you're getting the clout for. Because remember, followers is just the algorithm. Yeah. Like, there are bare great content creators. If the algorithm don't push your stuff, nobody sees it. Nobody follows you. So you get the right thing, it hits the algorithm, and you're gone. Do you know what I mean? You can have loads of followers. You can get onto a TV show or get onto, but the reality is that, what is your talent? What is your gift? Don't ever lose your gift creating. Because sometimes I see creators that now I can tell that you're just doing content.
I get you.
Like, you're no longer doing your skill. You're just doing content, and it's like that won't last because that's not the love. That's not why you started doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So don't lose your passion and your gift just trying to get views, just trying to get followers, just trying to make it like that is not forever. That can happen in a moment.
Yeah.
You might spot an opportunity and say, look, I'm going to say X on this moment.
Yeah, on this moment.
I'm going to say X,
And
Y,
back
Z.
to normal broadcasting services after.
Come on, you understand? Because it's not an everyday play. Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't work like that. So it's really important to remember the essence, because you have to make this every day.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? Like I make finance content, I make family content, and that's why I have a mixture. Like
so you can keep it fresh.
Do stuff with the kids, do stuff with my wife, do stuff on my own, do stuff about life, about relationships, about money, whatever it is. Like I can do it. I can do as I feel because I'm in it. Now, some people would say, oh, just stick to finance and do this every single day. I would hate it.
It's much easier to stick to what you're actually doing in your life anyway.
Come on.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
The family thing, in actual facts, it'll probably be harder for you to exclude family because you have a family.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? It'd be hard to exclude it out of the content.
Exactly.
So, no, absolutely. But bro, I think we got a bit of time for some financial jams, right?
Yeah, come on.
You guys still with us on that one, yeah? Financial jams, come on.
Love that.
So we got one here, yeah? I'm 23, finishing uni, deciding what to do after. I want to focus mainly on one thing for the next couple of years and have been going back and forth between property investing or forex trading. I learned about both during uni. I have little capital right now doing part-time work. Thoughts? And plus, I love your pod.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
No, this is a you.
Why is this a me one?
And I mentioned property, so you're the property guy. You know what I mean?
You're the property guy too, bro. Now, I think for this one, I love that they said that they want to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
At 23 years old, I don't think I was doing that. 23 years old, I'm up and at 'em trying to do a million things at once. And what you'll find is that you're just not as much time as you think you've got. You're not able to give it your all, basically. Forex trading and property investing. I've done forex trading before. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest expert on it. But one thing I often say to people, not to be biased towards property, so I won't be biased towards property. I would say it's going to depend on your goals.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So what is it that you want to do? Because forex trading, depending on the type of trading that you're doing, you may be doing trades where you're in and out on the same day, in and out within 3 days, or in and out within a week, basically. Think about how you want to be earning your income, how you want the return to be coming, basically. Because with forex trading, you'll have a pot of money and then you'll effectively be building on that, and then using that for your lifestyle. However, with property, depending on the investment that you're doing, and there's so many different investments, there may be an investment where you've got a pot of money for a deposit and maybe a refurb, and then that's 60k today, and then after 8 weeks after a reno, you manage to sell the property, it's 90k or whatever it may be, basically. Or you may have something where you want to bring in rental income on a monthly basis. And then even with the rental income, it's a thing whereby there's rental income that you'll get when you're not putting in that much intensive time into it, but it's the rental income's a bit smaller. And then you can consider ones that may be a bit more intensive, like a HMO, but it'll bring you more money. Yeah. So you're now looking at how much time am I willing to put into this, or how much staff am I going to recruit. So it's very, very hard to say, but I'd say that look at what both offer you. So my answer to that is look at what both offer you, and look at how closely that is aligned to how you want to be earning your money going forward, basically. And that would be my answer. I don't know if you've got anything to add.
No. I think what you said is perfect. I think there's a few things that they said, like, so obviously they said they've done both, but they got a low income, they work part-time. So I think with a low income, property is something I want people to understand is, yes, properties is either you need a high income or a high deposit. You need one of the two to really to have the actual ownership. But getting involved in property, you could go to property events, you could look at trying to deal source, you could look at rent to rent, you could look at property management, so where you offer a property management company for people. You have so there are loads of things that you can do in property that maybe require your time. So you being part-time, you can learn, and as you build, then you either build up your income so you can own, or you build up your deposit so you can buy, and so forth. So I feel like it's really important to know that with property you can start off low and then build up again in the future. I would say that Forex is great. if you can learn the skill, learn the skill. But again, like you said, because it's unpredictable, do you want all your income to come from that one way? You might want to look at other ways to diversify. If you feel like you can do a Forex course now and the money you make from Forex can replace your part-time income, then focus on that now. Replace your part-time income so that you've got more time to focus in on property and doing the other things that you want to do. But if you feel like it's just something you're learning, keep your job, and then just look at how you can increase your income, and then spend more time in the property network to really understand networking scene, to really understand what's going on, and connect and build your network of people around you, so you really understand the game a lot more and know where you want to go with it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, man. I think I was focusing too much on not being biased towards property. You put me on the spot. But even like what you said, for people that want to start, I like to call them property businesses if you've got low income and low deposit, basically. If you want to start a property business instead of property investing, things like rent to rent and deal sourcing are really, really good. And we got programs that do rent to rent and deal sourcing. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out. But I'm not going to do a property one now because E-man's trying to dodge them. So here's the next one, right? What advice do you have? So you had a client who spent 73k on their credit card. Yeah. What advice do you have? Tell us about that story.
So I had this client, we're very good friends now, to be honest. Like this is it's even mad. One of my shows that I had on TV, imagine her mum must have told her, look, you gotta speak to this person because he's amazing with finance. So then the client reached out to me through socials. Then I started helping them, told me their story, got a deep story. So I was like, you know what? I'm a sucker for a story, you know. Because I know my story, I know I need people to give me a chance. So if it's just to give you a chance. So I probably helped them, helped the client, went through, changed the way they're spending, changed their mindset, brought them to my events, brought them around everything. They signed up to I did a partner thing where they signed up to partner, they saved money, paid off all their debt. They were going towards, they wanted to get a property, they're saving towards their deposit, like they had money, everything. 2 years, this is 2 years, changed their whole life in 2 years. Then they were like, you know what, I've done all your courses, I've done everything. This is the importance of mentorship, yeah? I've done everything, so I don't think I need your mentorship anymore. Like, you know, do your thing. Me, I'm never gonna hold anybody. I said, don't worry, do your thing, we'll still keep in touch. Within 6 months or so after, we kind of obviously we've gone from talking every week to now just as every now and again when we see each other on socials or just comment on each other's posts or DMs or whatever. Then they got a partner. Then their partner is more going outy. Then they start going out. Then they start feeling like, oh, I've missed this, I'm missing that. Long story short, they blew all the savings. From not only just blew all the savings, they've now racked up debt on credit cards. So they've come back to me now, almost a year and a half later, like, I'm in a mess. So I said to them, okay, I want you to look back over the last 12 months, because they had an American Express credit card. How much have you been paying on that American Express credit card each month? Add it all together. When they added it up, it was over 73 grand. In the last 12 months, 73 grand. So when you know American Express, you have your month. If you don't want to pay, you pay the full balance at the end of the month. When they added up how much they paid, their full balance each month, £73,000.
Oh, so it's one of the charge cards that you have to pay the full balance.
Full balance
minimum.
So they've paid 73k on their credit card. Today they're still in the mum's house. Still ain't done nothing. None of their goals. Nothing. Bro, I was vexed. I was mad.
What advice would you have to them?
And so what I said to them is like, you got to look at what's important to you. Like, you got to reevaluate, because what's really important to you? Like, what do you really want? Because sometimes we can say what we want, but the reality is we don't really want that. I might say I want to lose weight, yeah, but if I'm ordering McDonald's every day, I don't really want to. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though I know I should lose weight, even though I know I should eat healthy, even though I know I should go to the gym, I might know all of these things.
Yeah.
If my actions are, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not going for walks, and I'm ordering fast food, I'm not going to lose weight.
Yeah.
So then I'm lying to myself. I don't really want to. it's what the world. It's maybe what I feel like people want me to do, but it's not what I want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm telling them like, don't ask me what I should tell you. You tell me, what do you really want?
Yeah.
Like, you've lived this life now. Do you feel good about it? How do you feel? Do you feel like this is the trajectory you want to keep on going? Because if you're happy with life, be happy.
Yeah.
Just know that you're never going to own nothing. One day your mum going to kick you out the yard. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to probably end up renting somewhere. Like, just know that all the goals that you said, just forget them and just know this is what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Obviously, they've reflected now. They're like, no, this is not what I want. Like, I want more for my life, for my family. So, like, then it was just, okay, so what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? Let's pay off this debt. Sometimes you just got to start with what's the easy win? Forget deposit let's just pay this debt off. Let's just get us back to a place where we're at zero. Because once we're at zero, we can then look forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's focus on paying off this debt. What does that look like? How much have we got left over each month? Like, can we cut this? Can we stop that? Oh, you were going to go on holiday. Are you ready to not go on that holiday? Are you ready to keep that and go away, spend a week away in the UK instead of going abroad? These are hard conversations.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, it's up to you. I'm not telling you what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, long story short, the debt's paid off now.
Wow. Twice. You said Iman's 2 for 2.
Long story, but it's not that you can't, it's the mindset. And this is why when we talk about mentorship, people think mentorship is you're mentored, like you might know the information, but being around me, you're going to act different because you're around me.
Yes.
Do you understand? You're around my people. It's different. Like, I tell people, like, the circles I walk in, if you're mentored by me and you walk in those circles, you're going to walk different, think different, act different.
Yeah.
Because the type of people I hang with are on like, you will feel embarrassed. Someone will ask you what you do, you just say, you don't even want to say what you do. Even if you're doing well.
Yeah.
Because the circles I walk in, man, are really trying to do massive, massive things. Do you understand? And so all of a sudden you start to think to yourself, like, why am I trying to own this? Or why am I trying to go on holiday here or go and celebrate?
Change your mindset a bit.
What do I have to celebrate? Just because I'm alive? Okay, but there's more to life than just being alive.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand? Yeah. And like, what do I have to show for it? And so that change in mindset is what they really need. And that's why I'm like, even if you feel like I'm going to tell you what you already know, being around me and hearing it again is going to stop you from going to make that mistake.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even if you feel like, I've been with my mentor and I understand my mentor and I understand what they got to say, still keep around in their circle, still keep being around them to make sure that you don't go astray, because on your own, that's the reason you needed the mentor in the first place. Absolutely. So when you go back on your own, even with the knowledge, you're more likely to fall back to your old habits than keep the new ones.
No, facts. It's facts. Jeez, Iman shelling, boy. But I think, that's for the financial jams, that's wrapped up, and that's all we got for today, innit? But I think there's plenty of gems to take away on the creative side and the people that are looking to get into that. Guys, don't forget, Iman's gone 2 for 2 on clearing. Once it was 73k debt, and what was the one before that?
Oh, it was 20 something. Yeah, it was
100, nearly 100k in debt.
Come on,
2 for 2. You heard it live here first. But thank you for listening, guys. We've been Iman and Tayo, bringing about a podcast. You already know.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Blessings.